Welcome back, everybody, to day 5 of the Gears Pro League. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Colin DeCrow Clark. We're now heading into our third series of the day, Fire and Ice playing against Rise. It's going to be a great series, I'd have to say, but might be one-sided. I don't know, Colin. What are you thinking?
No way, no how this is going to be one-sided. All right, look. As good as Fire and Ice have been playing, Rise are no slouches, and sooner or later, they're going to figure it out. I know I might be the last man on that ship, but they are going to ride it sooner or later. I know Franchis has had a lot on his mind. Congratulations to him. For those of you not
Congratulations,
in the know,
absolutely.
my main man, Fran, probably one of the best players in history. If he's not on your Mount Rushmore, I don't know who is, now has joined the Dad Club, okay? He has joined fatherhood, so he's gonna have a new level of strength, okay, a whole new level of dad strength coming out of spawn tonight, rolling out with Franchise.
I agree that dad strength definitely means something we might actually be discussing in a video in the near future. But you know what, you're right. When it comes down to Rise, you know, I'm not going to get too carried away, man, because I think they're going to be a great complement or a great counter, if you will, to Fire and Ice's aggression. But let's go ahead and hone in on one player, and naturally the player we have to discuss is Fearzly. Fearzly is an incredible player. You look across it. By the way, the number on the right, that's where they stack across all pros. KDA-wise, 10th place. Hey, being top 10, even if you're number 10, that is a good spot to be in. And Fearzly rounds out the top 10 quite well. Plus or minus +2, that's still 5th place. But you go down the list, things are still looking pretty solid, including that true engagement success. We discussed it with Monkeys earlier, and of course, we'll discuss it with Fearzly. 70.81% of the time you run into him, you're going to have a problem. That's 10th overall. So you're looking at 4 of his stat lines are top 10. Fearzly is a great all-around player that can make magic happen.
Well, I think Fearzly suffers from the same problem that Monkeys does, and it's not a bad problem to have. Fire and Ice finds a way to put him and Xploidz in their best possible situation. The reason their true engagement success is so high, the reason they are so proficient at finding kills around the map, is because Fire and Ice, much like the Pittsburgh Knights do with guys like Monkeys and Dezenai and Raver, they will strategize around those players. They will move them into positions in the map to say, hey, look, Fearzly, look, I know you're going to be rent lancering for somebody. I know right now you're support. They're going to probably rotate over to fight you. We're going to be right there with you. We're not leaving you. We're not going to leave you out to dry. And you know that Fire and Ice has been very good at making sure Fearzly doesn't take many of these fights or engagements by themselves.
And that's fair enough, right? The team really is starting to come together quite well. But I do have some talking points about their teamwork, specifically in late game, that has definitely be coming to the forefront as of recently. But hey, we got to talk about our pick and bans first before we get there. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I have a lot that I want to discuss, but I've got to stay on track. Exhibit, Asylum, and District is what we're rolling with. Fire and Ice on Exhibit, you know, not a bad team. Rise, for some reason, with the transition from 5v5 to 4v4, just Exhibit didn't agree with them for whatever reason, and they have improved without question on that map, but Fire and Ice to me is a heavy favorite in map number 1.
Hey, look, like a lot of leftovers that you forget about in your fridge, they're not going to agree with you sooner, much rather than later. Exhibit just has not been the bread and butter for Rise that they've been able to relax on, that they've been able to figure out the problem on. Tonight, you're going to see Fire and Ice probably try to use that aggression, especially up top. They're probably going to pressure that 1v. I expect to see Fran continue to take that 1v spot up top, continue to try to get those fights to go in his favor. Asylum, that's your standard map pick, man. Asylum is a map we see damn near every single rotation. It's finding its way into a lot of teams' repertoire, so I'm not surprised at all to see Rise kind of go to a bread and butter map. District, we know how good both these teams are. There's not a lot to say about that map. We know how it is. We've seen it since E-League. So, Taylor, hit me with these late-game stats you're talking about.
I mean, so it's not necessarily stats per se, but it's more so Fire and Ice. I don't know what's going... It was... I forgot what series it was, but there was one series that they played where they definitively showed late game, they struggle. Every time in this series, they would get into the late game action, and even series after that, The longer the round was extended, the more uncomfortable Fire and Ice became, the more of a chance to unravel ended up happening. And it happened time again and again and again, to the point where I had to take note and really look at it and say, is this happening, just an offshoot, or is this a real thing? It happens so many times now that it is a real thing. For some reason, Fire and Ice just does not like late game. We know their initials are strong. We know their mid game is decent, but late game is where they start to struggle a bit. That's where I feel Rise can capitalize and get better, because traditionally Rise is a team that becomes more comfortable as the round is extended on, because now they have the smarts. You mentioned the Mount Rushmore of Franchis. He's got a big brain up there, okay? Therefore, he can make some big shot calls, some big audibles. That is an invaluable skill set to have. And that's why I think Rise, as the rounds do extend, are going to be a dominant force versus Fire and Ice, who aren't as strong in their late game. But they have to get through the initial first. And that is my biggest worry for Rise. That slaying power from Fire and Ice is not to be messed with. But hey, let's talk about our predictions, though, at least to get that out of the way. Again, I think it's going to be a balanced matchup, quite truthfully. I mentioned, will it be one-sided? You said it right. It's definitely not going to be. But either way, Fire and Ice has to be the heavy favorite, at least in my mind, with their performance as of recently, and Rise kind of struggling at the bottom at 1 and 3. I've got to go with Fire and Ice. I think overall, they're just a more solid team. More all-around team? Maybe not so much, but their slaying power for me speaks volumes about what they can do. Colin, who are you going with?
I don't know if you want to go outside and check for a meteor, but I'm going back-to-back Latin American teams. I'm picking Fire and Ice. I picked Pittsburgh Knights now. I'm picking Fire and Ice. So if you want to go check for a comet, go right ahead. I won't
really
even blame you. I won't. You're like, it's actually the
terrified.
Chances are probably higher than you'd like to believe, wouldn't it?
I know you tweeted out about the best Zelda games. The only thing I can think of is Majora's Mask, and just the meteor just slowly coming in. I definitely don't want to see that terrifying
big
face.
Smile, that big creepy smile on it.
But that slowly turns into a huge frown as the days go on. Hey, I know all about it. Hey, but you know what? It is what it is, Colin. And I know you, as smart as you are, sometimes you do follow your heart. But I mean, look, these Fire and Ice boys have been looking incredible, and I don't blame you for going with them, as well as PK just a little bit earlier. Chat, where are you at? I'm assuming Latin America. You're pretty strong when it comes to PK and Fire and Ice, and you guys are going Fire and Ice. We didn't do one for the Oxygen Noble naturally, right? Because that was supposed to not happen at the same time as the first one. But with that being said, all night tonight, we've been thinking the same. That's a scary thing. That's a scary thing.
Well, it's scary, and it's also everybody's kind of going with the comfy picks. Does that make sense?
Fair enough, yeah.
Tonight, everybody's kind of
they've
going with chalk right now. And I don't blame anybody for going chalk right now. I pick Fire and Ice with all the hesitancy in the world, because every time I think Rise is down and out, Franchise, Icy, Avexys, Rushiez, they find a way to make something happen. They find a way to make life a little bit harder on somebody somewhere on the map. And you see Xploidz, he is flying into this first fight. He's trying to find himself a down and damage. Avexys all the way down to 11%. A little shot comes out as he creeps around the corner. Toti's going to go down there. They're trying to rotate around. Rushiez going to find one. Rushiez will find a second. That's 2 down and dead for Fire and Ice early in this one. Fran up top. This is what I was talking about. Fran knows how to play this fight. He Lancered down, helped his teammates out long enough so that when they decide to pressure against him, they decide to take this 1v1. It's just too little too late, and now Fearzly's going to find himself against the wall with 2 players breathing down his neck.
I'll make that at least 1, so he's able to isolate 1 sacrifice to life. So at this point, Fran is going to be able to get the cleanup, stagger the devs, and push over, and at least force 1 Fire and Ice member to deal with him. He doesn't see the one to his right. He'll take some pepper damage, but in the meantime, though, Dyslexia is going to be able to push him off. Rise, they've got the 2-1 at this point in time. Fran should drop here. I have full confidence that this 2v1 is going to take him down. It's just a tough spot to be in. He eventually drops. B has been decapped, forcing Icy now to fight and at least try to gain it back. Dyslexic, though, might jump over cover and force the issue here. Curious to see if he will do so, maybe waiting for his teammates to kind of join into the fold, but for the most part, Rise has control, and they benefited off of that aggression from Fire and Ice. They played it perfectly to counter it, but now we're getting into the mid-game. Fire and Ice is going to once again heat up. They're going to push forward with the aggression, and Rise has to once again find a way to deal with it.
see Avexys, he's going to be in a 2v1 situation here. I actually love the pressure. It's a Wolfpack pressure out of Fire and Ice. Earlier, they tried bait and switch, and people that were coming forward and backwards into that fight continuously found themselves being damaged before they got around the corner. Franchis is going to call out Dyslexic. He's going to get the mark on him, start to Lancer out, trying to find this angle. There's nobody there to have the next angle to get the finish on him, but Dyslexic will find one down. He'll find a second down. Toti has to rotate in to try to get that next revive. Here comes Icy and Rushiez. They're going to find one. Flash out by Icy. I love the Wolfpack from Rise right now. I would not slow down if I was them. I would continue to pressure across the bottom side of the map. Rushiez is going to go over the hop. He's going to get into the B hill for the decap and now set up here at the 50-yard line. I think there's no reason for Rise to move. They have twice shut down Fire and Ice, and I know the points are very close, but 2 times early on in this round, they shut down the retake of Fire and Ice. They got to do it one more time to be able to win this round.
So this is where Fire and Ice starts to unravel, at least traditionally as of recently, but it seems like they're doing fairly well. Fran is gone, Icy's out of the way, Rushy's forced to go up top or at least try to maintain his life. Bravo's looking to be gathered, but excuse me, no, he goes on to overextension. My apologies. Dyslexic takes him out.
They win their
Now
home.
They have to get over towards Alpha. That's their only win condition. They've got to make this happen.
Call off the dogs, baby. That is all she said and done. Avexys had a 1v1. Rushy's such a high caliber play, such a high IQ play. Rushy's knows that playing where he is, if he gets into that home hill and breaks it and they're not getting any points, which they had not capped B yet, they knew that Fire and Ice would be out of the round for all intents and purposes. So Rushiez gets into the hill, he forces the decap, he dies anyway, but that's not the tail of the tape. Rushiez takes that death to finish that round. I think one of the brilliant things we saw right there is that breakthrough, followed by Avexys. He gets that first shot, goes for the double bounce, gets that 90-degree for the second shot chunk. Just makes it look damn near simple. Franchis has no kills and 4 assists playing the 1v spot up top. He is effectively taken Fearzly out of the fight. Our player to watch has been neutralized.
All right, fair enough. Well, it is round number 2, and like you said, he was neutralized. Will he be neutralized this round? That's going to be a big question. Of course, though, off the start, Rise being a bit more aggressive than they were last time, trying to take over the neutral early on, but unfortunately, that's going to be 3 down. Fran, we know, is up top in that 1v spot against our man of Fearzly. He now has to make a decision, and that decision, is, I guess, was just to go forward. He looked like he wanted to backtrack, but the hesitation will be his undoing it. A Batista bomb already? Fearzly, my guy, it's too early for this.
Hey, look, it's never too early to pull out the 5-time WWE World Heavyweight Championship caliber Batista bomb. My man, the Animal, unleashed yet again. If you don't know any better, he has been unleashed in Gears 5. You can even play the campaign with Batista as your Marcus character skin, which I think is one of the cooler things they added into the game. Anyway, hey, look, I think that's mind games, because the first round, Franchis, he gets Fearzly to be neutralized. This time, Fearzly said, I'm going to pressure you until you crack. And when he breaks him, he Batista bombs him, and that's going to he's just trying to put him on tilt right now. And I think it might be working, because you see Fran pressuring up with Icy.
Ooh, Fire and Ice is looking good. They're looking solid. Avexys brings it down to a 1v1, but unfortunately a bit too weak. Xploidz takes him out. And at this point, Rise, they've just got to gather their troops once again. That was 3 down, unfortunately. Fearzly's going to be up top to, of course, try and lock it down once again against Franchis, who ultimately should be joining into the mix. You see him just down low, and I think he's going to be pressuring low side with his teammates. Maybe player 2 is going to go up top, but either way, we'll find out how that's going to work out. A lot of work to be done from Rise, Colin, and they've got to do it quickly.
See Fran trying to make it over to the B hill. He's not going to get Lancer just yet or peppered up at all. Easy, as a matter of fact. Flash will come out. Avexys is going to try to pressure Fearzly here. Fearzly just being annoying. He's playing behind enemy lines, which is going to make life that much harder. He almost gets the kill there on Avexys, but Avexys finishes him off there with that shot melee after the snub. He'll get the home hill back. 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor of Rise right now, but they don't have the win condition. They have to get a decap on A, and I think you have to wait for Franchis to get into this area from that B hill before you pressure up, and you can see the downs coming through. Icy already down. He's taken out. 3v4 situation effectively for the side of Fire and Ice. All they got to do is clean up these kills. You see the decap trying to come through. They get it, but I mean, without being able to continue to pressure, without Avexys cleaning up one of these kills, that's going to be a 1-1 lead. The 1-1 round count going into the round number 3.
1-1, still a hard-fought battle where both teams fighting for just any type of power that they can get. And Rise tried to commit 3 up top at one point, ultimately to get shut down and kind of backtrack. Franchise, I know, kind of did a little bit of a sidestep. That ultimately led to the Batista bomb. But ultimately, though, I think both teams pretty much even. I must say, a lot more even than I was expecting this to be. And once again, I go back to my original point for Fire and Ice. Late game gets a bit shaky for them, and Rise is battling against their aggression quite well, I would have to say.
And I think one of the things that Rise is doing well to be able to battle against that aggression is how they're able to play back. They're able to Lancer out for each other. Now with the Retro, I'll be curious to see who they give it to. Avexys will have it for the side of Rise. So instead of Franchise taking it up top like we've kind of seen them do, they've thrown that wrinkle in there where Franchise will have it in the 1v. They're going to give it over to Avexys, and Toti is going to be waiting inside that spawn area with the Retro to try to shut down any play from Rise. Icy full red, back A out, but he gets secondarily shot over the cover. Dyslexic will get that kill. Fearzly's going to be pressuring across. Here comes a Franchise trying to make something happen. He's going to bounce into one, tries to get it, but he gets a full brick with nothing to go for it after the fact. This should be a Fire and Ice round based on the amount of deaths and the positioning for Rise in this situation.
I think so. For Fire and Ice, a lot of battles going down. Oh, man. Rushiez is gone. Fearzly's gone, but even on the other side, does Avexys go for B now, or does he wait a little bit? There's a lot of moving pieces. Rise should get A, and they will. B's still a bit shaky, but I think they're going to be able to, yeah, they're going to double back and get it. Dyslexic's going to be a Lancer out, but it's not going to be enough. Toti's going to be on the side. Oh, with Icy down, this might not be good. That's going to be 2 players. I think they're about to die off, but that trade is actually big. And the team pickup is in. Rise might be all right.
Eyes on target. They're kind of come out of this smelling like roses, and so far there's at least mulch on the ground because they are starting to find a couple of extra shots on. Avexys is going to be able to try to get this down on Xploidz. I don't know if they're going to be able to finish that kill. Icy tries to push up and finish that kill. He doesn't get it, which might be the things that come back to bite him in the butt, but that's going to be, Fire and Ice is going to have to take advantage of this. It's 3-3 on the map, but you can't push that corner. Rushiez and Avexys are going to have this, they're going to have this held down. Avexys has 18 more rounds, and he's going to pretty much save those shots to try to stop anybody from getting into that position. And it's a beautiful job by Rise so far, but they get a little over-aggressive, and that could come back to kill him.
Oh no, yeah, this could be a bad spot. Points are still very close. Rushiez just needs to waste time and actually does more than that with this teammate of Friend. That's going to be a successful OE now over towards Charlie. Fire and Ice, no forces. Dyslexic is up, but he's forced to go head down straight in to a 1v2. But even so, Friend falls, and Rushiez isn't in a better shape. Rushiez actually gone. Friendo picks up 2. Hold up a second. Rise pulling off the heroics. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
See here, the extra shots on, but Toti's just going to have to get back his... He's just going to have to get back into this fight after he gets that cap off. They're going to have to get a full retake. This is going to have to be a triple cap domination situation. You see Rushiez is just going to play back, and he knows all he's got to do is be annoying, and everybody else has to fly into the jaws of the defense. What a beautiful round by Rise here on Exhibit. This was fantastically done by them. Early on, even mid-round, just the way they were able to suffocate their opponents. They weren't giving any angles, not giving up any hallways for anybody from Fire and Ice to kind of maneuver and get loose.
And I think that's the big thing. Keep that pressure up. But I mean, ultimately, it's a 2-step battle because, as you mentioned before, they're doing a great job creating that spacing. So when Fire and Ice does get aggressive, they're not getting that in-your-face fight that they're so comfortable with. And Rise knows that's not the best fight that they can have. So once they battle against that, then by wolf-packing up, man, it's just so... I mean, any wolf-packing team is so hard to deal with. But the fact that it got so messy in that mid-fight, and like you said, come out and they had the mulch on the ground, at least smelling like roses after a certain point, that was an incredible comeback in my opinion. And again, that Batista bomb, that's what I go back to. Sometimes you don't want to dance too early, as chat likes to say, man. And you said it's never early enough to do a Batista bomb, but I think that just woke Rise up. They're angry.
Hey, it might be too early to pull out some of the love taps, but never too early for Batista bomb. I stand by that statement. All right, you will never get me to say a negative word about Dave Bautista, my main man, born and raised in Washington, D.C., just an hour or so drive north of me in the nation's capital.
America.
Don't get me started on Dave Bautista, one of my real life heroes to be honest with you. So that's why it's never too early to pull out the Bautista bomb in my book. And Fearzly's trying to bait Franchis again. This is what Franchis did in round 1. He forced Fearzly to try to take this fight. He forced Fearzly to kind of play into his position, and Franchis is just going to play back. He's just going to make him make this mistake where Fearzly's going to have to get impatient and try to take this 1v. That's why we saw the Bautista bomb to begin with, was because you could tell Fearzly's frustrated at the way Franchis is playing this.
But even so, keeping him at bay, and even though you're taking one player out of the fight, you're not able to get value from going for the overextension or even on the flank. Like, it's not a worst case situation. The 1v1 fight up top is very critical, especially in 4v4 format, but the 3 players down low need to make something happen too. And let's say Fire and Ice does make it happen. It could be big, but either way, he does take out Friends. Now the option is there for him to make some moves. Xploidz will take down Rushiez, and Rise might be in trouble as Icy's in a tough fight. That's going to be 1 down, and gets the team pickup on Avexys, still though not out of the woods just yet. Final down for Avexys is there. Fearzly is going to get the cleanup on 1, goes back in for round number 2. Toti's gone, and what a play from Icy to get Toti and Fearzly like that, man.
Ice in his veins and fire coming out of his Nasher. Icy with a double kill here, and now he's going to be able to Lancer out toward Xploidz, helping Franchis and Rushiez try to pressure up into 2v1. Now Rushiez pulls the snub. You see the flash out. Beautiful job to get that stun off and to stop the retake by Rise. But Rise, they're going to come back into this momentarily because you can see they get the win condition, and they are going to take over the points differential. Right now, they're going to take that lead, and now the pressure is on Fire and Ice. Getting into the B hill is second to the fact that they have to win a fight. They have to get positioning, and it has to start with a kill. If you just go into the B hill, you're probably going to get Lancered out and go down and probably get cleaned up and give up the man advantage, and that's the retake for Rise even easier. You see how they're trying to get this positioning. Incendiary out onto Avexys, answered back, no decap. Toti is full red, trying to Lancer back against the Avexys, but won't be able to find that down just yet. Beautiful down. Will anybody actually? Oh no, they get 2 downs. Icy down Rushiez, actually. Icy's down Rushiez. All that good play earlier has led to a team down and a team wipe. Fire and Ice off to the races. Call it off, ladies and gentlemen. APB, we're in a citywide search for Rise's team fire as they fail in that one. And that is a 2-2 split. All tied up going into the second half. And for those of you new to Exhibit or new to Gears Esports, it's one of our more unique maps because none of the hills will change positioning. So the fights don't really change from the first to the second half. You still have that mid-neutral down low, the 2 home hills just outside of the spawn points. So you're going to continue to see these teams fight over the same kind of positioning and find the same kind of emphasis here in the second half.
And so unfortunate Icy gets that team down because does it change the situation? Maybe, right? That's one additional teammate in your favor. As soon as that player goes down, Fire and Ice smells blood in the water, and they go forth like sharks ready to feast. So unfortunate, a big round taken away, but all 4 rounds have been very, very close, literally on a knife's edge. And it just comes to show you the level of competition that we have between these 2 rosters. So now with the fresh half, as you mentioned, the hills don't change, but does the mindset change? Well, let's see if it does. Icy now in a spot against Dyslexic, who can't really get out of that corner. Avexys pushes up, gets the finish. Icy obviously was there for the help. Rushiez will take down Toti. That's 3 gone. Xploidz now by his lonesome, looking for the rest of the troops from Rise to come through, but nobody's home just yet.
Xploidz just trying to catch Rushiez right there. Rushiez trying to peer around and find him in that situation to stop him from being able to go for the overextension. Avexys with a kill with that incendiary. Fearzly finally capping up their home. Both teams will get their homes back in their favor now, but Rise will continue on with the 2-1 hill advantage in this round. Be mounting a point lead here momentarily. I don't see anybody playing up top for Rise right now. I think Avexys is bouncing around up in that direction, trying to make sure nobody can go across the top. The rest of the players from Fire and Ice, though, they have to find the situation. Avexys throws the flash kind of early and almost threatens the retake, but now he realizes he's in a 2v1. He has to roll back. He's going to try to play back as well. Will go across that hallway there, Taylor, and here comes Fearzly off the races. They're going to call back into the spawn. You see Avexys is called, Rushiez over. They know that both of them are there now as Franchis has let out some shots, so this will be a...
Oh, Icy! And Icy just picked up 2 alongside that of Rushiez, so even if Fire Ice does make this break, F is still going to be decapped.
Oh, but it didn't get decapped. Rushiez died. He wasn't paying any attention. They rotated Toti back.
I thought for sure he had it. You're right. Toti rotated back. I'm thinking it's in the bank. So, but Fire and Ice now, can they even make something happen though? Because Rise still has forces on the map, and they're going for the overextension. It seems. Oh my lord! That's one headshot to connect. Toti's gone.
Here we see down to the last few seconds of this round. 15 seconds to go. It's going to be a full team retake. Flash out. Avexys with the Boltok in hand. Will be stunned, but there's the Incendiary. He's going to try to get that first. He won't need any help other than just the down from the Boltok. They get the down inside of the hallway, too. All she's said and done. Rise take the round lead. 3-2. They are 2 rounds away from closing out map number 1. This is going to be a beautiful last couple of rounds. Is I think one of the things we have to take away from this is, them lasers show no mercy even after the round's over with. That is intense. The security system for whoever built this exhibit in this museum, on point, brother. They are on point.
It definitely is. You might have a couple of lawsuits. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but I mean, it's definitely on point if you want to make a statement that you're not robbing this place. But they,
look, they only work about as half as hard, like as many hours as those lasers are working. They only work about half as hard as the lovely people at UMG making Gears Esports as good as it can be, bringing you all the production each and every week.
Did a lower third pop up to say that?
No, that was just me giving him love.
Sounded like a
CTA. Love, baby.
I love it, they call it. Hey, I'm telling you, the team does put in a lot of work over at UMG. In all honesty, Dyslexic. Oh, Dyslexic from the flank takes down Avexys and Rushiez. Can he get Icy as well? Clean it up, make it clean. I know Xploidz wants this.
Make it clean. Make it
clean.
Oh,
no.
Icy don't get another. Oh, he almost got it.
He just
I thought he was going to hit that second shot on the player, go for the revive, and get a double down, and I was about to lose my mind.
And the cleanest thing about that, Colin, there was no teammate for him to Lancer either, so that would have been a clean 2-piece, and he would have got out of there for free.
Oh, look at the retro from Fearzly up top, putting out damage left and right on those 2 players in the back hallway. Now Fran has to pressure up. Fran doesn't have a chance to take this fight slowly. He has to move across the top of the map. He's going to try to get into this position now to try to get a 90 degree, but now he's going to get called out from the spawn. He puts himself too far past the halfway marker, and that is going to make him go down. He's going to be cleaned up. So is Icy. Rushiez is going to move up and finally get one of his own, but I mean, Fire and Ice is just outside the home hill of Rise, and they're looking to tie this up right here, right now. They don't want to let this round extend any further than they have to.
Why would you want to, Rise? You keep a minute, there's always a chance they can make something happen. Icy rolls in, gets the touch. Xploidz takes him down. Frando with the team pickup. This one, they might stay alive, actually. They're looking pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. Avexys is gone, and that should be it. One more player up. That's going to be Rushiez. The meat shield's there. He actually does roll in against all odds. I can't believe it. And picks up an elimination to boot. Does player 4 get a touch? No. That went on for way too long. But hey, again, once Rise is there, if they can stay in it, they're going to stay in it, Colin. 3-3. We're all tied up.
Best of 3 at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I love the way how close this matchup is. This is fantastic to watch. But I'll tell you what. If you want to hear all the sights and sounds of the best players in Gears Esports, there's only one way to do that, Taylor. And I'll tell you right now, it's from our official audio partner of Astro Gaming. And if you want to get your tournament ready, the best it could possibly be, get on over to astrogaming.com and pick up just one of everything. Just click it all.
To say Xploidz would not be 18-10 without his Astro headset. Just want to point that out, by the way. You want to get 25% better, maybe even 50. I tell you, 100% better. Hey, play with sound. It makes a huge difference. Get some Astros out there, baby. It's a big thing. 3-3, all tied up, and seriously, it's on a knife's edge. I love saying that because it truthfully it kind of accentuates how close this is. And both Shocks and Incense are gone. Dyslexic trying to get on that flank once again. He is hungry for another 2-piece, and I don't know if he's going to get it this time, but nice shot onto Rushiez. Rushiez answers back, and Dyslexic is gone.
Dyslexic is down. He's going to be taken out. Rushiez is down now. They're going to try to clean him up. He could roll back behind that cover. This is going to be, oh my God. Well, I thought you said all the utility was out. Avexys was like, Avexys was like, yo, I'm just going to hold on to this, okay? Reflection said that all the utility's gone, but I'm just going to be holding on to this so nobody expects it.
Yeah, because I'm definitely tipping off the team as to what's out there.
You're in the comms, Reflections. Don't lie.
I just want to say, if I was, I would nerf any team that was listening to me at this point in time. So please don't listen to me if you're a pro player and you're playing currently. Hey, check it out, though.
We've seen this. This is a famous clip on Twitter right now. Except it was Icy getting killed. Icy was getting killed around that corner. Yo, I had deja vu. I was like, what day is it? Like, I was about to ask you what day it was, what month we were in. I was having nightmares and flashbacks of watching Icy get rap-shotted around that wall. Triple cap domination being threatened, though, while I'm meandering about a shot that is getting looked at right now. Meanwhile, one death will come through on the side of Rise. You see another player from Fire Nice trying to make something happen, but Avexys is catching everybody's forehead. Like, they're roadie running right into him, and he said that makes life so much easier, and the beautiful soft glow of those hologram weapon skins. Just absolutely picture perfect on a map like this.
Absolutely. Look at that scoreboard. Look at that box scoreboard, I should say. Man, just round for round, tit for tat. If history repeats itself, though, we are going to be going to a round 9 because the boys of FNI is going to take this. But then again, you don't want history to repeat itself because naturally for Rise, you don't want to go to a round 9. And for Fire and Ice, if history does repeat itself, yeah, you're going to round 9, but it means you're going to lose round 9. So at this point in time, something has to change, and one team has to put 2 rounds together in order to win this.
Let's just take a second and marvel at the fact that this is probably the most intense exhibit we've had all season. Like
100%.
The most just fights, the most people just in each other's grills, just trying to find these wins. Flash out or smoke out early. Yo, the incendiary lands just a little too far, and Xploidz gets away with the sniper. And I think Rise actually used both of their utility grenades to try to stop that sniper pick. Now they're going to have sights on Rushiez. Xploidz is trying to get this kill here early. Give themselves a man advantage. He's looking for anybody that he can pick off. Rise will have the ice-breaking kill on Dyslexic, though. I was going to say on Deluxe. Poor Deluxe. We're going to have the ice-breaking kill on Dyslexic, and they're going to have the 2-1 hill advantage. And I think I think that neutralizes kind of, in my opinion, the sniper being in the hands of Xploidz, because what you have to do is you have to rotate across the top of the map, and Xploidz is going to be waiting back in the spawn and see if they can pick anybody off here.
Big push coming out. Fearzly wanting to apply that pressure onto Fran. Fran surely dies in this spot. No, hits a nice shot, but eventually goes down. The overextension is successful. Even so, Fire and Ice needs to find a way to get onto E. That's going to be the big thing. It is a 4v2 currently. Rushiez now going to force the issue onto Toti. It's a great shot, but Toti hits an even better one. 1 by 1, Rise, they get up 3 strong, maybe even 4 strong, but then just as quickly as they're up, they're losing 2. Dyslexic not having the time of his life in these moments. First, it was Rushiez who took him out earlier. Now it was Icy in that situation, but the team is there for Fire and Ice to clean it up. So now they don't have the 2 home-to-home, but they do have the neutral, and that was the main thing they wanted, because now Xploidz going to have that overlook with 3 shots to do what he just did there. Well done. Can he get onto Rush? That's a body shot. Fair enough, and the shock is there too. Can't catch a break.
Blaze will tell you, body shots are just as effective as headshots in a lot of these fights, because you can get downs, you can do enough damage to where somebody has to pepper them up to get that extra kill off. Rushiez, though, already back into the fight. He got picked up, and they immediately pressured up onto Xploidz. I think what they want to do is they want to kill Xploidz, and I don't even know if they pressure the triple cap. Yeah, they're going to fight back toward the middle of the map. Oh, what a shot around the cubby from... Oh my goodness gracious. I love seeing that ability from Rushiez to know where the Nashers kind of lined up, get that hip fire off, the pellets come through those railings and get the down. Great job there. Icy bouncing around, not going to be able to find anybody just yet. Here comes the utility back for Rise. Smoke will be out. Xploidz hasn't been marked yet. They get some damage on him, but they're not going to be able to pressure him. Here comes the flash out. He doesn't get a marker, so I don't know if he knows that Icy's not stunned. Icy going in for the slide. The up fade comes through.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that incendiary. Oh, my. Yo, Icy.
Ooh.
Yo, Icy.
22, 22, and 12?
Somebody call up Mr. Nicholas Cope and tell him that he's a good. Oh, he's giving him the boo-hoo, baby. He said, "Don't you cry for me, Argentina, and don't you cheer for me when I'm winning, because I'm on the way to a 1-0 map count lead, and my rims they're still spinning." And he's MVP. Hit him with the yawn, Icy. Damon Baird with the it's nice. It's nice.
22, 22, and 12. Ooh, leading the charge. As you said, MVP, and for a reason. The man was a living highlight reel. Albeit he made that mistake and Lancered out his teammate. Fair enough, but I think what he did in the meantime and to make up for that was well done. So, hey, I thought you froze like Blaze did that one time with the tinfoil hat.
I was doing my YouTube. That's my YouTube thumbnail at his stat line.
Oh, is it?
That's my YouTube thumbnail at his stat line. Yeah, I appreciate
it's just
but there, baby.
You know what, man? Well done. And again, I'm not even going to ask your opinion because I've already heard it twice now. It was too early for the Batista bomb. Fearzly awoke the beast. If he doesn't do that, it stays low key. I really think it stays low key. Rise at that point is thinking like, you know what? We don't need to be that intense. But once that Batista bomb came out, Isis said, yo, enough is enough, man. My man's... Right,
you're lucky we're not in my trophy room, because I need to go and get my World Heavyweight Championship out of the trophy room so that I can be like, never too early for Batista bombs, Taylor.
I just want to say that replay to Batista bomb was perfect, because in my mind the meme was playing, and this is where he knew he messed up. You know, and nothing was the same from that point forward. It just wasn't.
We needed the freeze frame as Franchis was like up on the shoulders, getting ready to go down, and then make it go black and white. That's what we needed to do. We needed to pull that one off. We failed, though. It's fine. Look, we'll move on with our life. This exhibit was picture perfect for Rise. Everything kind of went their way. I love the way they took a lot of these team fights. It's one of those situations where you'd think that they might be, falling behind a step, maybe having some issues or some problems with the, kind of the I don't want to say inconsistency and playtime and scheduling, but with everything going on with Fran, you'd have thought they might have lost a step, but they played against a very game Fire and Ice team very well in this map number 1, and Fran still just, that's a beautiful headshot. 10 years or more, 10 years plus being a pro. 2007. 2006, 2007, yeah. 2006 to 2020, what, 15 years? 15 years this man has been putting people on the bricks. He's been making them hit the concrete home early, if you know what I'm saying. He said, look, you might be good at this game, but I'm great at this game. And they win that map 1-5-3. We go to Asylum. So I think what we need to see is, out of Fire and Ice, they're going to have to get these initials in their favor, because they're going to have to force this into a big shotgun battle. You can't let Rise do what they did in map 1, where they're able to set up and Lancer out, because they are going to make you pay for that.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned for Fire and Ice, quite truthfully, because I think we're both in agreement. Exhibit should have been a map where they should have dominated. Not dominated per se, but at least won, and they didn't. And again, Rise played them perfectly. Exactly what I was saying before. They were able to reel them in, use that aggression against them, and counter them. And it really is quite simple. And if there's any team that can do that, I knew Rise could, because that's the team they've always been. They've been a calculated team. They love extending these rounds, and they're incredibly intelligent, and rightly so. Bit of an update, though. I know Ink's been asking out there for VQ and Rebel. They're actually heading into map number 3. So that's going to be a good one. We'll hopefully keep you updated with how that's going to be taking place. But VQ and Rebel, man, again, another great matchup, and truthfully, a big test for Rebel at this point in time. They are undefeated for a reason. We'll see if they can get that victory. Obviously, though, VQ playing now with Bronny. Bronny, another talented member coming back into the mix. And quite honestly, I'm excited to see him playing alongside that of VQ. I felt TPC wasn't enough for his talent level, and honestly, even for his professionalism. I would love to see Bronny on that roster. Sadly, we won't see them tonight. Well, maybe we will. Well, no, we probably won't. But at least we'll get to see them hopefully tomorrow, which would be a great thing. So, but either way, that's going to map 3. Just a quick update for you. But we're heading into Asylum, and you mentioned Fire and Ice. They just got to play their game, be aggressive off the rip. But just like you said, the same narrative, Noble versus Oxygen. We said it for Noble wisely, so we thought Oxygen wasn't going to win. But regardless, though, Rise can still slow it down just as much. Honestly, even more so than he did on Exhibit. So Fire and Ice are going to have to find a very unique way to take a victory here.
This is going to be one of those situations where I want to see early on, I want to see Rise out-rotate Fire and Ice. And by that, I don't mean like winning a gunfight and getting somebody across the map into the next fight. I mean, I want to see Rise use the same methodology from Exhibit, where you saw in a couple of those situations where either Rushiez rotated on the 6 o'clock, got an angle from the 90-degree. You saw Icy do it a whole bunch, where Icy was finding these little 45-degree angles. He was finding those slight edges to be able to lancer out down on people across those bottom hallways. A perfect place for Rise to be able to take advantage of those spots is at the train tracks, whether it be through the Bat Cave, that middle entrance area, over the bushes as you sit on those two 90-degree, those two L-shaped covers. There's a lot of spots for you to be able to find just nooks and crannies for you to lancer in 1 or 2 extra bullets to make life easier, make those fights easier. If Rise can do that early in this situation, they have the ability to win map number 2. I think what they can't do is allow Fire and Ice to pressure up onto them, which they stopped them in map 1 doing it. If they do it here again, we're going to see a 2-0 Rise favor, and all of us are going to look as dumb as possible.
Well, I'm going to lose all my channel points too. Like literally all of my channel points. And that's a depressing thought for me. But you know what it is? Because you make a risk, you make a gamble, and any team can win at the end of the day. And Rise is looking solid. You mentioned that dad strength coming out from Fran. He's looking strong. He's looking strong. I'm not going to lie. Lobby is getting reset up, but once it is ready to go, we'll be heading into Asylum. And let me ask you this. For Fire and Ice, they're going to have to do the tracks fight. We're going to have that 2-2 split. But in my opinion, I think they're going to try and force the OE on the first half more so than they're going to be focused on the tracks fight itself.
If I am Fire and Ice, what I'm calling, the play call I'm making in the huddle is I'm saying, look, round 1, maybe even into round 2, but I don't think it'll go this way. I hope it goes this way because I think it'll be interesting to see how Rise answer it. Round 1, round 2, however long it has to go until a power weapon gets placed at entrance. Whoever is playing the 1v up top, your job is to fight that. You are not playing back. You're not waiting for us. You're not going to let them set up and be able to lancer you, because one of the things we see is people will wait too long to initiate that 1v where somebody's already set up somewhere else on the map that can have those angles to lancer out, pepper you up as you try to make your way across the entrance. I want to see who's ever up there fly at that fight, drop a flash, make that player roll back, take that top entrance control so that you can lancer down at the tracks, or best case scenario, you get the kill and you can pressure that overextension like you said, but I think it's got to come from that top entrance. Elevation is a killer in Gears because of the fact that you can then see much more of the map, you can get better sight lines, and at the end of the day, we know how great of a game Gears is when it comes to that team fire, the Lancer being a very unique weapon where it's got that great ability where you can pepper shots. I know a lot of people kind of see a lot of people only see the Lancer being used from that short kind of to mid-range, just outside of Nash or chunk ability, where they're just holding the trigger. There's a lot of times where we don't get to see it on stream because we don't focus on those players, but you'll see people doing that beautiful 1, 2, 3 tap, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's that trigger control. It's almost like a nice little rat-tat-tat on a snare drum because they know they can keep the accuracy at 100%. It's absolutely fantastic to see when players control the recoil, control the trigger, and make sure that they get the downs and damage across the map, especially on Asylum.
You mentioned a great point that I absolutely forgot about. The entrance power weapon that gets placed. Now, that's something Rise has been doing, but every single time they do it, they lose. Every single time they place a power weapon on entrance, they lose. And they can, or at least they've done it now the past 2 times I've had a chance to watch them and cast over them. I'm curious to see if they continue with that strategy, given the fact that it just hasn't worked. But quite honestly, if they do it against Fire and Ice, it's almost playing into their skill set. It's playing into their wheelhouse. I don't want to see a power weapon go there. If anything, I want to see Fire and Ice place a power weapon in entrance and force that engagement early on instead of being that long-range fight where the teamwork of Rise can really be accentuated over on track. So Fire and Ice probably can put that down, but I don't want to see Rise do it because, again, it just is not, or has not been working. But either way, though, Let's get into it. Round number 1, and off the rip, we're going to see one player drop off. It's going to be Icy dropping in Pavilion, forcing Avexys now. The big 1v2.
See Xploidz trying to snub out. Avexys is going to be on the backside of that cover, just shooting over the top, trying to get something to happen, but 2 quick deaths come for the favor of Fire and Ice. Rushiez is going to try to pull back here, trying to get inside of the administration. Franchis is going to go down, and I love the 2-man push from Fire and Ice across the top of the entrance. Not a lot of time has been bought by Rise. This should be a quick round number 1. You can see Fire and Ice already in the home hill, already threatening that triple cap domination. And this is where you need to see it kind of slow down if you're Rise. That was a beautifully timed secondary fight in that entrance. You saw that first down came because of the double Lancer on that player trying to go for the hop and drop there into the entrance. You gave up the positioning, you gave up the Lancer lane, you lose a player off initial, and it allows for Fire and Ice to rotate around the map and use their numbers to keep their numbers.
And I expect Rise to counteract that by not, wow, here we go. We're placing the weapon already in entrance again. And you know what? And you called it, but again, I've seen it now happen twice, and this does not work for Rise ever. Or at least historically from when I've seen it.
Hey, look, you've seen it 3 times now, baby.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times. And look, if it works now, fine, fair enough, but it works 33% of the time. But at this point, I'm really worried because this is where Fire and Ice is going to be comfortable, you would have to think.
33% of the time, it works every time, right? Is that how the saying would go?
I guess fair enough. Yeah, if it works this time, then maybe it was worth it. But I'm a bit worried.
There's the Lancer angles, there's the downs, there's the damage, there's the win across the entrance. It's a 1v1 down low. Dyslexic is trying to bait that player. I think it's Rushiez to get out from behind that tombstone. But, I mean, if you can't go anywhere, if you're stuck by that tombstone, you're going to go down anyway. Fearzly's going to get down by Avexys. Here comes Xploidz into the fight. He's going to be a little bit red. They might have that first kill, which will give them the ability to rotate out of this. They're not going to get triple cap dominated just yet. See Rise trying to push back across. Avexys will find one and get shot in the 90-degree by Xploidz, and I think Xploidz needs to take over the top side of this map to be able to shoot down and get the damage on these players from Rise trying to... Oh, what a beautiful headshot on a Franchis.
Rushiez looks like he's going to go ahead and try his luck by pushing in. At least get that angle, but keep your head down. We see what he did to Franchis a little bit earlier, but waste enough time for Toti to get up there, but still the trade is in. Avexys and Rushiez are gone. It looks like the domination attempt once again is going to be underway. Fran trying to keep the game alive for Rise, but it's a bit too short, and at this point, that is going to be a domination come in. Again, I don't like the M-bar placement over at entrance, and at this point, the only way Rise can change up that fight is now placing a power weapon in Pavilion, which, again, wouldn't make sense because you want to build up for the instance and the shock for the second half.
I think what you do if you're Rise, because of the fact that they placed the Boltok down low, now Rise can kind of be in lockstep with them, placing secondaries going toward the top side of the map. And if I'm Rise, I'm putting out a Boltok. Yeah, I'm doing Boltok over Talon, and then I'm going Retro, trying to build up toward that. You're in lockstep with them now. You're right there. The B hill is important, but it's not the be-all, end-all that you might think it is. If you can win this initial, if you can force out these players from Fire and Ice and get the downs and damage that you need to get these kills. We come to the second round or third round now. Excuse me. 3v3 up top. Smokes out by everybody. The beautiful marks and the Lancer damage across from Rise was just overwhelming, getting that initial down onto Toti. 1v1 at the B hill. That's a very important fight as well because the winner of that is going to be able to Lancer out for his team from down low.
Still, though, nobody able to get their hands on the M-bar as of yet. It's still going to be off to the right. Icy looking to get it for himself if he can. Fran considerably weak, but either way, though, Icy almost rose into the Lancer fire of F&I. That would have been unfortunate. Manages to get away. And now Rise can set up and start to play the game that they are comfortable with. The M-bar won't be up, at least for the next 100 seconds. So plenty of time for Rise to utilize this investor ability. But F&I, though, continues to push Icy.
There's a flank by Dyslexic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He came through entrance. He went underneath the overpass, and nobody's got the lane priority to call him out. Player 8
has to get a touch. That's Fran. He's going to get there, but that is unfortunate. And that's the second time now, not only on Exhibit, but here also on Asylum, where he's been able to flank like that and devastate the opponents of Rise.
Franchise wins a 1v here at B. Fearzly trying to get the mark on him, trying to get some Lancer damage in. This another flank, but Avexys calls out Dyslexic. Gets the good back A off on him, gets the kill. Xploidz is a little red now. He has to be careful not to go down in this situation. He will go down. There's a quick cleanup. One player for Fire and Ice is going to be up top. That's going to be Fearzly. There's the mark out on him. Toti's going to be there with him. Dyslexic back off of respawn. I believe you're going to see them set up for a possible secondary M-bar pick.
45 seconds.
Yeah, 45 seconds on that coming up shortly. See the full defensive stand across the map by Rise. They've got 2-2 just holding down lane priority. This is going to be an interesting situation for Avexys as he's in the bottom. He's going to give himself away by taking shots at Xploidz. They know he's down there. Train about to be coming through. I'm not sure if they're going to pressure up. Let's go down to the tracks. Yeah, they're going to put Dyslexic in that hill. Here comes the double flashes. It's going to be a double train as well. And Icy can't just necessarily push willy-nilly. They give up the 2-1 hill advantage over to the side of Fire and Ice. Not going to get the down on Dyslexic either. This is going to be a very, very hard situation for them to come back in now because of all the positioning that Fire and Ice has. But that's a good start to get that kill on Fearzly and now on Xploidz.
Fresh M-bar is up. The overextension is in. Rise is going to be able to take the home hill of FNI. So at this point, Rise is doing exactly what they need to do to be successful. Now they're going to get the break on B. That's going to force Fire and Ice now to get a touch onto A. And it's not going to happen. Avexys is going to take down one. Xploidz now goes in for a touch, but the rest of the Rise members are pushing in, and they will take the victory. And you could see that set up quite nicely with that overextension through streets. I believe Fire and Ice only had one player that Rise had to get through, and I don't know what that player was. Excuse me for that. But either way, as FNI was trying to just lock in streets, in a way, honestly, quite lazily. I think they should have still done the 2-2 split instead of forcing all their eggs in one basket, which was that tracks fight. But at that point, I believe they were pretty confident one player could take on the two on streets and potentially even win the M-bar. But in Foresight, that wasn't the proper play because letting them go home hill to home hill and then losing the B fight ultimately was their undoing. Fire and Ice has to be careful of that in the future.
Definitely do. Now we see the double retros out. Fire and Ice sending a player down low to try to get that bolt hawk. They're taking somebody out of this early fight. I'm surprised that you don't see Rushiez try to pressure up, get an extra Lancer angle into the area. And the fight has officially changed. It's a 1v1 in the middle of the map, won by Rise, and now Rise is going to be able to Lancer out from the middle to try to get shots on Toti. Toti will be full red. They're not going to pressure through the middle. I'm actually shocked at this that you don't see. There's Icy finally trying to push up onto Xploidz from the 6. Now you see the double shot down. Xploidz will win the first one. The chunk comes through. Fran is going to try to pressure up on a Toti. Get into the hill. Oh, no, they're not. They're not going to pressure this double cap. They finally are. But they lose Rushiez down low, so they can't pressure a triple cap. That's going to buy all the time in the world for Rise and Fire and Ice to come back into this and kill everybody from Rise off. Avexys doesn't need to stay there, and he's basically throwing his life away now.
Yeah, Fearzly gets the headshot onto him with the M-bar.
And Franchise is going to be left to bleed out. Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible situation for Rise. They leave themselves in a bad position and wide open to attack. And you know that feeling when you're at a party and you stay just a little too long and you know you've overstayed your welcome and nobody's really telling you to leave, but you feel like you should have dipped out about 30 minutes ago?
Sounds oddly specific, Colin.
Avexys probably should have left about an hour and a half before he was getting shot by 3 different people.
Yeah. Well,
like the chips and dip were already gone. Like no more chips.
Oh,
and
that's
dip.
Unfortunate. Yeah,
the
chips and dips are gone.
empty.
I'm out. Yeah, no,
like,
I'm gone.
Nothing. There was nothing left for Avexys in that administration.
You got to have chips and dip. If that runs out, are you really being a good host even at that point? Is the party even a party?
What kind of chips and dip are we talking? Are we talking spinach, like some spinach and artichoke?
How are you gonna say spinach? Dip? Spinach is the first one. Get that cheese dip, brother.
Cheese dip. All right. Hey.
Queso
already got a dub on the date, baby.
Okay.
So we going back.
Hey, there you go. Hey, Queso getting the dub. Fire and Ice now leads 3-1, and this could be 4-0. Let's not kid ourselves. If Rise doesn't make that heroic push earlier, shocks are thrown out, and I believe the M-bar hasn't been gathered. They really tried hard, but even for that though, the overextension for FNI, it's in. They're really shooting for this, and maybe even was going for a domination off the rip, but I think they bit off more than they can chew. Fearzly's also down. Fran is going to pick up the M-bar. This is a disastrous start for FNI.
You see them trying to pressure up toward this hill Xploidz. He's going to see that what a angle Franchise must have hit right there. And then he just walks into a triple cap domination, coming in hot. That's going to be 3-2 going into the early portions of the second half. And you said it, it's a little wrinkle in the offensive game plan for Rise, and it throws Fire and Ice off enough that they just steamroll him. The train was not the only thing on some tracks in that round. Rise was doing a fantastic job doing their best impersonation of Thomas the Tank Engine, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely the case. All right, so what's the game plan? What are we doing here, Dyslexic? Yeah, I got to get that retro. Retro's going to hit hard. It's going to hit hard without question. I don't expect F&I to do what they did in the last round. They committed way too much trying to end the round early. I respect it. I truthfully do, especially because that fits into the wheelhouse of F&I's playstyle. But you have to focus on the M-bar. You cannot allow anybody from Rise to get that, and more importantly, allow them to defensively set up.
Here we go. Avexys will get inside of the entrance. Dyslexic's going to go for the back A on him. There's the shock out to stop anybody from pushing up. There's the quick pick by Avexys. He tries to poke out just a little bit. Shock still there. Basically guarding Avexys, but also trapping him inside. Revving the M-bar. Trying to catch somebody poking up, poking out. Not going to find anybody right now. Dyslexic a little bit damaged. Man, it's like every time he gets that thing revved up, Dyslexic will be back down under the cover, but he does find the headshot onto Toti. Now he's going to push up, a little thirsty for that one. I don't know if you want to put the M-bar player in the front line of offense or if you want him to play back, but they're going to let him pick up a second kill, feed Avexys a little bit, but there's the shot from the top. That's going to get a kill onto Fearzly, and this should be a great defensive stand for Rise. Get ready to start.
And that's where they're going to be comfortable, setting up defensively. Icy just to the right. And I like the fact that he's going to go in and back off instead of just trying to get those pop shots. Set up and wait for Fire and Ice to push up and then use that M-bar where you can have maximum value. This is where it's going to really pay dividends. And he's already connected on a headshot earlier where Fearzly is currently at. So Fearzly is going to go in and back off. Fire and Ice is going to take their time, and I don't blame them for doing so. They have time to give, but not so much. And the overextension is going to be in play. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Rushiez. Rushiez has to clutch up, and he's going to take down Dyslexic. Well done. And that's going to force Toti to back off, and that's going to free up a lot of pressure from Rise.
One of the things it's underestimated by that kill is just how Rise can take this top entrance fight. You can see Fearzly trying to push in. They're just kind of look back and forth. They don't have to necessarily fly at either of these kills. They can kind of stand up, play some defense. Here comes Dyslexic again into the fight. Shot over the cover. He's not going to find one, but that was a beautiful brick by Avexys. Almost baited revive comes out, and it does finally, but there you see it. Fire and Ice, they have two. They're going for the triple cap domination. Two players into that hill. Toti will hit the Voltok. Will get that down after the headshot. This could be a 4-2 lead because Fire and Ice has got 3 to 5 kills. I think it's 5 kills in a row without losing a player. I really do believe it's 5 in a row.
That's incredible. And you know what? It's all about closing it out. Can they do so? Will Rise be able to get back into it? It's looking great for... Oh, no. Icy pushes in. Or no, excuse me, that was Franchis, but I think he just missed the shot, or maybe he didn't pull the trigger. I don't know. But either way, tough spot to be in regardless. And that's an important round for F&I. I couldn't imagine... It'd be hard-pressed, in my honest opinion, for Rise to win 2 in a row, bring it 3-3, and then lose the map. Like, they would be in the driver's seat at that point. But for Fire and Ice now to bring it 4-2, that gives them all the momentum they need to close this out. You would think. You would hope anyways. But I want to see a Game 3 personally. But let's see if it comes to fruition. And no disables. We want those instants. And now it's up to Rushiez. What is he going to do? It's too early for disables, I guess.
They need another round before they can really throw out that disable. We know that 4-3 is when the disables start to be thrown around. They do have all the utility, though, Fire and Ice does, to try to win this round and stop Rise from even having a chance to put out their second utility in this situation. You're going to see them start to...
I see him!
Excuse me. You're going to see them start to take control over this top. Rushiez is going to grab that retro. I like this. Fire and Ice has thrown a player into the middle tombstone area, trying to Lancer up across the top. Nothing yet. Fearzly will be full red. He has to sit back down. Nobody can put pressure into that M-bar just yet. I'm trying to shock onto Avexys. We'll get the down after some beautiful double Lancer damage. The incendiary long range won't find anybody, though. Towards the M-bar in his hand, revving up, trying to catch somebody's shoulder blade to get that kill on him, but won't be able to get anything just yet.
Xploidz looking. Oh, yeah. Rushiez is gone. Unfortunately, that train forced him forward. Even though Rise still going to be able to take over E, Fire and Ice has to find a way to battle him back, which it's going to be a lot easier if Xploidz can just hit a couple of shots. That's Fran down, but he's going to be picked back up. Yeah, so only one more shot remains, and then it's mano a mano at that point. No more tricks. Flashes out, Dyslexic pushing forward. Fran now backing up, full red though, but the pressure unrelenting from F&I. Fran tries to hold his ground. Dyslexic though picks up all of them. Toti though to answer back onto a couple himself. They're not going to pump the brakes. They're going to go all the way over towards F, and that's going to put player 3, Xploidz, against Rushiez now in the 1v. Potentially get this domination, and Rushiez clutches it up.
See them trying to pressure in, and Fearzly will get that, finish that cap off, mind you, back at their own home, and get the kill there onto Rushiez. That'll still give them that 2-to-1 hill advantage. Rise trying to get inside of the E. He'll go for the decap to try to keep this point differential to be as close as possible. I think Franchise's whole idea is not to die in the situation. Lancering out of that cubby corner, a lot of damage on the Dyslexic, not going to be able to find anyone. Trying to find this first kill, but my God, the Wolfpack from Fire and Ice comes through with a beautiful double shot down and a chunk. Now they're continuing to put the pressure. They get a second kill there on Ices. Here comes that shock. It's going to have a lot of early damage. Beautiful job by Rushiez to get one. He's going to take this cover, try to find Toti inside of that cubby corner, but oh my God, the flank from Xploidz helps Toti out. He saves him. Look, Toti, I hate to tell you, man, but you owe Xploidz a pizza right now.
Big old pizza. And more importantly, too, Fearzly gets the fresh shock. That's going to be great with shutting down Rise. And this late in the ball game with Fire and Ice already having to lead, that shock's going to be huge. And there it goes. Avexys is gone, and Rise is going to be missing out on valuable time to push up. And on top of that, they also lose a couple of players. They're not even a full force. They have one more final push to keep this map alive. Oh, great shot.
Shot indeed. You can see Icy trying to push in. He gets the meat shield off, which will finish the kill, but they're going to lead him to bleed out. Up over 230 points. The E-Hill's getting decapped, but they've got to get over to the D-Hill as well. You can see multiple players from Rise have now pushed down the stairs. Fran's going to try to be the first into the area, but Dyslexic with a beautiful up A will get one. He'll find a second, and that will shut this down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've set up a 3-ring circus, and the ringmaster right now is Dyslexic as he's looking to help carry his team from a 1-1 map count to a 2-1 victory. But the only way for us to find that out is to come back after a quick commercial break and finish things off with a map number 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Gears Pro League Day 5, map number 3, about to be underway between Fire and Ice and Rise. Go back to Exhibit, ended up being a Rise victory, 5-3. Things were looking great for them to close out the series 2-0 as they headed into Asylum. Their map pick, Fire and Ice answers back, though, 5-2 victory. And for the third time I've seen Rise do the strategy of placing an M-bar over at entrance, they take the L. And again, I don't know what is up with the strategy, Colin. It just is not working for Rise, but they continue to try and do it.
Maybe, look, I know the old saying is the definition of insanity is trying the same thing without getting different results. But maybe Rise is like the Wile E. Coyote. They just haven't gotten the right Acme product yet, okay? They're going to keep trying to catch that Roadrunner. They just ain't got the right Acme product yet, my man. They're going to keep putting the... Look, in all seriousness, I think the reason they do it is because Rise, they want to be able to focus a fight. They don't want to allow somebody to kind of rotate around the map and get behind them, get a flank off. And they still were giving up flanks to Dyslexic in that map. Twice, I believe, 2 rounds were decided on the back of Dyslexic, I believe, getting a double kill on the flank.
Yeah,
so
that was
one of the
incredible
things that I think you have to make sure you do when you go for that power weapon up top, you have to be able to have lane coverage, lane priority. District might actually be the same story because Fire and Ice is a big fan of putting the sniper down somewhere on that map. Well, I try to sit up, not look like a goddamn bum here on the stream. Let me just get comfortable again, boy. Hey, I was relaxing, boy. I was getting real comfy down here. I said it's gonna be map 3. I'm gonna get real nice. I was just leaned on back. You're lucky I didn't knock my green screen over, knock it, just Back in
Oh,
the room.
you just brought up I bought some popcorn today I'll talk about it later if I have permission to, but it is the best popcorn I've ever had in my entire life. I just want to point that out. Spur of the moment
You don't
buy.
tell me about the popcorn now before map 3. We're gonna fight. We're fighting, Taylor. So
it was incredible popcorn. It is the best popcorn I've ever had. The flavor of it is just tremendous. But check it out. Let's talk about map number 3 on District. As hey, suspense. I'll tell you later. Okay, fine. I know you like your food. All right, just hold up a second. All right, just hold up. Fire and Ice and Rise though. So when it comes to District, and one of the things we said during the pick and ban talk was District. We know how both teams are so good on this map. How incredible both teams are heading into it. And I think momentum isn't even a talking point at this point, quite truthfully. You know, it's truthfully not. At this point, Rise and Fire and Ice, fresh start, fresh map, 2 teams that are incredible, 2 teams that are storied. Well, I shouldn't say storied. Rise is definitely storied on this map with the people that they have on it currently. But who do you think truthfully has the leg up? Because you mentioned the long shot, fair enough. But then again, that plays into the wheelhouse of Fire and Ice because that now forces an engagement to go head to head. That's where they feel
That's what I was getting at is Fire and Ice loves to put a long shot in the cinema. They love to make this about a big team fight in that back cinema area. That's what I'm expecting to see out of them. If they dominate these rounds, if there's no need to put a power weapon and they're just winning these rounds outright, I don't know if Rise is going to change the fight by putting down a power weapon, but I will tell you that if Fire and Ice find themselves losing rounds because of the setups, because of the Lancer damage and the angles, do not be shocked to see a power weapon get placed at cinema. I'm just going to warn you right there.
That's fair. Yeah. And it might come even after round 1, quite honestly. We see power weapons get placed on this map very early on, depending. And Fire and Ice might be a team that places it early on. Krispy Kreme donut popcorn flavor, by the way, fantastic. We're heading into map number 3 on District. And I got to say, whoever wins this is taking the series. Let's get into the game, baby. Call the action for me. What do we got going down?
You're going to expect me to not talk about Krispy Kreme donut flavored popcorn? Ice, you're doing a fantastic job. Krispy Kreme flavored popcorn? Ice is still fighting people outside of the juice. Get 2v1. Krispy Kreme flavored. Yo!
It's amazing. It's so amazing. By the way, Fran doing a great job picking up Fearzly and Dyslexia. Exactly that. Hey, off to a good start, it seems, for Rise. They're going to have the 2-1. Xploidz is forced to back all the way off. He's going to be over in Bandstand, just chilling out, trying to lock down this lane, maybe stop Rise eventually from going for the home hill to home hill, which I don't think they're concerned with at this point. If anybody's going to be doing that, it's going to be Fire and Ice to alleviate that pressure off of Bravo to eventually sneak their way in and take the 2-1 for themselves. The neutral, obviously, the main focal point of what they're wanting at this point in time. And Dyslexic is going to be pretty pivotal for doing so. We've seen him make some big plays, and I trusted him to force this 1v against Rushiez. If there's anybody that can lock in this home hill to home hill, it's him.
My man, it sounds like you're inside of the comms like, I trust you to win this fight, the way he said that. Like, just sincerely.
I told him not to listen to me. They will lose. It's a nerf if they listen to me. Okay, I hope he's not listening.
See, so the 2-1 hill advantage is in favor of Rise. Fire and Ice, Xploidz is going to have to throw this flash and stun Fran, and they're going to have to push Fran in that back corner. There it is over the cover. There's the flash out. He gets the stun off. Franchis, he went for the melee, which, if it had connected, would have been an instant down, because the flash will instantly down you if you get tagged with it, which would have been beautiful if you ask me. But, like, right now, Rise has every advantage because they have the extra kills and downs. It's up to Toti in a 4v1 situation on the map. Now 4v2 is, I believe Xploidz will be coming back off of respawn, but they might go for the home-to-home stretches. They're up by 30 points. They can pressure wherever they want. Toti playing that beautiful...
I love it.
The bunny skin that came out, the bunny grenadier skin that came out with Easter.
It's going to fit a sniper rifle quite well. See if he'll get his hands on it at this point. Rise playing very well, and more in a controlled style, a controlled pace, which is what I expect from them, being the team that they are. But even on a map such as this where they can pace out the fights. Again, power weapon is going to be big for Fire and Ice. I expect him to place it down earlier on. Fearzly tries to head down Ice. He's too smart for that. It's just not going to happen. This is a Rise round if I've ever seen one, unless Fire and Ice can be on all hills, which is a possibility, but Dyslexic has to stay up, and he doesn't.
And that's going to be a Fire and Ice loss here in round number 1. Let's see if we are excuse me. Let's see if we're both correct. If we see that that sniper rifle come out after round number 1. So that was a pretty. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was pretty definitive for Rise in round 1. That was pretty. Xploidz, no kills, no assists. Yo, that Rise Lancer's pretty hot though.
Definitely is.
If you are a fan of Rise and want to support the players over there, make sure you hit up the store in game and pick up the Rise Nation supporter pack. Or Rise, excuse me, not Rise Nation. I don't know. Dude, I called them that for so long, and I had such a hard time breaking myself of the habit, and I still can't 100% break myself of that habit.
It's all right. Hey, honestly, there are worse habits to have, Colin, like eating Krispy Kreme,
isn't there
popcorn,
Twitter
and
handle
eating an
still
entire
that?
bag of it. It is the Rise Nation. It is, yes. Because every time I go to, anyways, every time I go to tweet at them, I'm always typing in Rise Nation, but it's the Rise Nation. Long shot down, and you called it perfectly. You knew this engagement was going to be taking place. I thought it was going to benefit Fire and Ice, but look at Rushiez, Fran, and Icy having their way with the initial. My goodness, Toti, I'm sad to say, won't get the long shot, nor did he fight for it. He has the bunny ears for a reason, I thought, but at this point, Rise is on fire.
I mean, they're hunting. You might as well call them Elmer Fudd because it wasn't duck season. It was rabbit season there on Toti. They get that kill, continuing to pressure the A hill. They're going to continue to get these kills. And look at the way that Rushiez is behind enemy lines, just looking down that long hallway with a sniper out. Domination ticks on through 2-0. Rise has won the first 2 rounds of map number 3. That is, I don't want to say that's worrying because it's only the first one, but Xploidz, Toti still doesn't have a kill in general. Xploidz finally found him one.
Yeah, Toti's been playing on the opposite end of the map, though.
Yeah, but Dyslexic has 1 kill. Like, Taylor, I love you, but come on, bro.
No. Toti makes sense because, again, he's playing on the opposite side of the map. He's not necessarily beating those big team fight engagements for the long shot, but Dyslexic being at 1 kill, yeah, that is concerning because that player is the linchpin for this roster. If he pops off, the team does well. If he struggles, the team struggles without question. He needs to pick up eliminations without question.
I love what Rise did. They set up 3 deep on that ledge. Rushiez is the only one in cinema. Rushiez is the only person pressuring the fight initially because 3 of them were lancering, with Rushiez being the furthest one or closest one to the fight. Thankfully for Fire and Ice fans, Fearzly finds a way to get a double kill of his own. 3 dead for Rise right now. Avexys will rotate down to this home. He's going to just be playing some defense. There's a flash. He's going to pressure up on a Toti. Toti trying to go for that angle. Not going to be able to get anything just yet. Shot over the cover. Avexys is going to get angled out for the top juice, though, and he's going to get picked off. A couple of different 1v1s will start to break out. Rushiez is going to Lancer down. He's going to get that first down. He won't be able to clean it up, though. Flash out. Might go for this up A into the hill. Goes for the roll. Does get the touch. Beautiful job. Now Icy on the flank. Tries to come into this fight from behind. Rise is 1-1v, though, which will extend the round because the B hill is decapped at this point.
Even so, though, with the great start from F&I, Rise being in it makes me worried with how well they've been playing, but maybe Fire and Ice is okay. Maybe this is their wake-up point, and, you know, fair enough. Let's see how they do as the round does continue forward. Fearzly, though, being pressured by Rushiez. Looks like he's going to be forced to back off. Fair enough. Now Rush is going to have a lot of pressure. Yeah, he has to.
I think there's no way you can win this fight as you continue to see people pressure forward, trying to get the damage on him. Just a beautiful job by Fire and Ice in this round. They've really pressured Rise into their spawn. And even though Rise has won a couple of fights around the map, they're not able to really get things going. They're not going to be able to get out to the other side of the map. They're going to get a kill there on the Toti, but that's the point differential and the setup Fire and Ice has and the sneak kill for Dyslexic. It's just everything's going their way this round.
It definitely is, and this needs to happen for them. They cannot afford to go down 3-0, especially with the performances and stats you were pointing out, right? Given away after the first round, or first 2 rounds, I should say. So this is important for them, but even so, like I said, if Rise is in it, it's a scary thing. They're on all 3 hills. If Fire and Ice loses this at 232, this is going to demoralize them and put them in a very weak mindset, in my opinion, but it seems like they're going to be okay. The double home hill starting to be capped. Xploidz backing off, Rushiez going in, but either way, this should be a Fire. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a Fire and Ice round now, but those first 2 rounds were shaky, without question. But maybe Fire and Ice finally woke up.
That was a beautiful round by Fire and Ice. It starts off with that double kill by Fearzly. I thought early when they got those three different Lancers into the fight, they were able to put a lot of damage out early. They were able to put a lot of damage out early, but not be able to convert any of those kills. And you saw Fearzly come right back into the fight. A lot of shots over the cover, getting those downs and damage, really forcing people to be out of position and getting those kills. Retros will probably be out for both squads. Rise, you know, they're ahead technically in the weapon placement category. This is one of those situations where it was the devil may cry because you saw him place the Boltok down low, so they placed the snipe at the cinema. I'm pretty sure that if Rise had placed that Boltok at the ATM, we'd have seen the long shot go down to the bandstand.
Big 3v3 battle once again. This went well for Fire and Ice before, but that was because Rise kind of backed off and tried to feed them into a fatal funnel, but it didn't work out that time. This time, though, kind of squaring up, meeting them head on, and it's going a lot better as Xploidz falls. Fearzly is down. Dyslexic, though, popping up. He needs to. Picks up one. Can't be the hero this time. The long shot will go into the hands of Icy, putting Rise in a great spot to be in. Toti also has been spotted at this point. The beneficial thing is FNI is going to be okay to be on the respawn. Toti shouldn't get out of this spot, but if he does, all the better. With 3 players coming in on him, he is definitely going to fall. But Fire and Ice is off the respawn, and a chance for them to fight back is here.
Rushiez is going to push down. He flashes out, I guess, just to see if he would get any kind of noise indicator, an audio indicator from a player hiding around a corner. They'll normally say something about a flash incoming, but no audio indicator lets him push out. Xploidz is waiting to pick somebody off. Icy will get that kill with Dyslexic. Down low, Xploidz is trying to catch anybody slipping down at the bottom in this 2v1. There's a flash out. Xploidz is going to try to push up, goes for a reaction shot with a shotgun, but he's going to get Lancered out. That's a beautiful job by Rise not to lose anybody down there.
Xploidz tough spot once again. He does have help, though, in Bandstand, but unfortunately, he's going to lose his life, and Bandstand didn't go any better. Player 9 forced to back out. That's going to be Toti in a 1v2 himself, and he's going to drop that Wolfpack from Rise. The teamwork coming out, truly making the dream work, is incredible. Fire and Ice is struggling to battle against the numbers of Rise, and it's very apparent, especially in that round. Taking the 3-1 lead, that is a solid first half. Now the question is, what is the answer in return for Fire and Ice? Something has to change in order for them to come back. Is it Dyslexic? Probably not. At this point, he's 5-4. He's right in line with everybody else on his roster. But with that being said, we'll find out now as Fearzly is going to have an opportunity to potentially change things up, and he is going to play something in Bandstand, something I was expecting. So now the map is going to be split. That M-bar fight, though, is going to be the main focal point. It has to be, because obviously you're getting the power weapon of the M-bar, but you're also taking control of E. But now I'm curious who's going to be fighting for Lone Shot and who's going to be taking the mid fight, because there has to be a mid fight, and I guess at this point, nobody. Rise is going to have it. It's going to be Avexys.
Fire and Ice. Rise is able to rotate somebody around through the middle and try to get that 90-degree angle. Franchise, beautiful shots. Those hip fires were picture perfect. Icy and Fran trying to win a 2v2 down here. But Fire and Ice, they have all of the necessary ingredients to come away with his M-bar and Xploidz hands. Up top at the 2v2 with the cinema. One down comes through. Avexys trying to help but get a second. Avexys and Rushiez will win the top side of the map. Franchise still alive down here. Almost gets that shot to come in clean as he slides into that cover, but Dyslexic will steal the Boltok away from Rise, and Xploidz will have that M-bar. Rise will probably be on the home-to-home stretch here of Avexys with the long shot in hand. Let's see if he can catch anybody slipping coming out of spawn.
Be able to. Potential victims there, and Xploidz. Yeah, that is the M-bar. Are you kidding me? So now that's out of the way, and that is literally a perfect situation, and Avexys set himself up correctly to take him down. Dyslexic now is out and gone, and this is a disaster for Fire and Ice, as I do not see them getting back in this series, and he cleanly picks up Xploidz as well. Getting rid of that M-bar was a big play.
That was back-to-back kills on Xploidz by Avexys, by the way. That was just, oh my goodness gracious. And that's one of the things that I think people always kind of underestimate, like with how good certain players are with that long shot. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for you to understand that Xploidz felt like he was safe at that hotel. When you get the sniper in the hands of somebody like Avexys, It's true to exactly what the great Bernadette Mataki, one of the characters we don't have in Gears 5, but one of our legendary characters from Gears, she once actually said during, it was a mission that she was on, she said to somebody, hey, look, you need a long shot. The reloading that thing, it's a pain. But it's going to stop a truck. And Xploidz, best way to explain him when he has a sniper rifle and M-bar, he's basically a truck coming downhill. And the easiest way to stop that was with that long shot at Avexys' hands.
No. Awkward fight, but either way, Xploidz takes him out, doubles back, he'll pick up the M-bar. Just got to watch out for the long shot, which is not going to be into the hands of Rise this time. Toti's actually going to have that for himself. We'll finally get to see the bunny himself put in or make some moves potentially if the round doesn't end before that. Fire and Ice tries, but they're going to go ahead and back off and play the long game, which fair enough, they need to at this point. No reason to overcommit. You have all the power weapons. You also have the retro. You have literally everything to be successful. Now you just have to utilize it correctly. Great shot on the Rush. He tries to roll out. He doesn't get very far.
Another shot out from Xploidz trying to catch somebody. He catches Avexys' head just at the corner.
Pixel.
I mean, that was all he could see. It was like the hairs on his chin, and he took them straight off. Icy now is going to find himself in a 2v1 situation, trying to get the shots over the cover, bouncing around, tries to push up and get one more onto Xploidz, but he's only going to have him full red in that situation. Now Toti, flash out. Fire and Ice has to be picture perfect from here on out, and they are well within their rights to make this a 4-2 after this round because you can see them continuing their campaign in this round. Toti inside the juice with the sniper rifle. He's going to be able to rotate around, try to find any areas with that long shot, trying to pick anybody off. And Rushiez knows that. He can't leave his head out, looking out that right side because Toti was going to be able to clear off of his shoulders. Trying to bait these shots out as well.
If anything, keep their head down. Like at this point, Fire and Ice, they are cruising to the 250 mark. Oh, how does he miss that? Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Icy now trying to force his engagement. Another shot missed. Only one more remains, and Rushiez actually will pick up one. He's full red. He's down. Fearzly picks up a good elimination on him to maintain E. Maintain that 2-1. 15 seconds remain. Fire and Ice going to have the victory. Toti finally gets the head of Franchis. It's the second shot onto him, but he managed to make it work. This is an F&I round, but still a lot of work to be done, Colin. You have to win 3 straight rounds, and Rise, even if they've lost 2 rounds, in the 4 rounds they've won, they've done so in a dominant manner, in a very dominant manner where they have looked absolutely incredible.
And one of the things that I think people underestimate is when we say you have to play perfect for 3 straight more rounds, when you have to play perfect for those 3 straight rounds in a row, that means nobody can make any mistakes. You can't have a blunder. You can't have a team kill. It's one of those situations where you put yourself really in a really terrible position because you're playing at such a heightened sensitivity. Basically, it's such a pressure situation. It's a pressure cooker for 3 straight rounds, knowing that one mistake could finish your team off in this matchup.
Remember your training.
And that's very well said. And that is the extreme that it has to be when you are down as much as Fire and Ice is. But they made their life a little bit harder. But hey, it's not impossible. But it starts with this initial. Xploidz last time was able to win this engagement, win this fight. He dodges the instant. Things are looking up. Fran, though, is going to try and take an off angle to maybe get a little bit of a pop shot. Avexys, though, being in mid. Fire and Ice has not put any effort into controlling mid at all. Rise has had free reign to do so, but Xploidz is making the most of this. He's going to take that one. Fran goes for the wrap. Is he going to be successful? He will not. And for me, that is a big missed opportunity. Again, Rise had mid position. That should have been enough to out-angle Fire and Ice, but they let that moment slip, and the M-bar is down to boot. This is not looking good.
And
it's,
had the long
or it should be long shot. My apologies. But either way, though,
no, it's
now
not
the
down.
M-bar
Dyslexic has it.
And that's what I'm saying. So now Xploidz and Dyslexic both have power weapons. That is a huge blunder from Rise.
I mean, we thought Fire and Ice had to play perfect, and it doesn't. I mean, it makes things that much easier for a team to play perfect 3 straight rounds if you're going to make mistakes like that, giving up a secondary power weapon. And here we go. Once it body shot out, gets the down. Dyslexic's going to be able to clean him up with a pistol. Franchise is going to have to come right back off a respawn 3v4 situation as both precision rifles on the map are being put to perfect use. And I love that setup. Toti has the bolt hawk. God, I knew it was coming. That setup right there can go one of two ways. If Toti hits the Boltok shot first, it does enough damage for the M-bar to hit a body shot and get a chunk. Or you hit the body shot, you don't get the chunk, Toti can hit you in the head and blow your brains out of the back of your skull. That situation, that setup with those two weapons being in those players' hands like that is literally for them to have the easiest day in the world.
Smoke out!
Another round looking like it's going to FNI at this point in time. You'd be hard-pressed to lose this. Through the smoke, Dyslexic connects onto the head of Fran, takes him out, lessening the chances of Rise to win this specific round. Dyslexic fight against Icy, but really it's a moot point. Yeah, he's just dancing. Look, and you know what, Fair? He's getting those fingers. And if he would have taken down Icy even so, that would have been incredible. But it is what it is. Dancing away. Chat loves to say Dyslexic likes to dance, man. So 4-3. We talked, as you mentioned, Fire and Ice having to be perfect, but what about Rise? Right now, they're starting to blunder quite a bit.
For Rise, it's more about taking advantage of what Fire and Ice gives you. And like you said, they have had full control over mid-map these last two rounds. And so Fire and Ice is giving them that. The issue is that Rise is not taking advantage of it, which is having to get somebody through that Lancer angle, being able to shoot down on Xploidz when he's sitting in that cubby corner of bandstand. They had the perfect setup. All he had to do was basically watch that player sit on that corner, and there's the block out. This is going to be interesting now because it's once again going to be about that long shot up top. This team fight is going to be absolutely huge.
I think this round in general is going to be absolutely huge, right? Because at this point now you're going back to Rise is kind of bread. I say bread and butter, but this is the engagement. This is the fight that has been working for them. Interestingly enough, though, Fire and Ice doesn't press them. In fact, they're putting more mid presence as they have ever done, at least for this map specifically between these two. Icy misses a critical shot. Either way, the team pickup's there, and Rushiez picks up the slack. Either he is going to be dropped off. Is somebody on the flank? That's Dyslexic, of course. Who else would it be? The long shot is free for the grab. Xploidz will pick it up in his favor. Still, though, Fire and Ice not out of the woods just yet. A lot of work to be done. Rice has a lot of presence in the mid. Xploidz needs to pop off. He does it. I think he's still backpacks. He did get the backpack off in the long shot. But Rise is going to look to clean this up and finish it off now. There's a possibility to do it. Toti is there. This is it.
Icy just so perfect, so smooth. He sees the backslide. That's it. Call off the dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, Rise make it to the occasion. As they said, look, it's not just a name, it's a moniker, baby. We're going to find a way to get this dub. They get map number 3 in 5-3, and both maps Rise wins. Big Icy, Big Nick is the MVP. 16 and 10. Ooh, what a beautiful stat line for him. Yep. They win this series 2-1. I am color me impressed, Taylor. I love the way Rise, even though they lose a lot of rounds. People are going to talk about that. They're going to go, well, they choked this round. Well, they choked that round. Well, they got dominated here. They lost this initial. I'm not here for all that. I don't want to hear that noise. What I want to hear right now and what I want to see in chat is that Rise came out and they took Fire and Ice's best shot, and they lost map 2. And they lost a couple of rounds in a row, which made things kind of shaky for them late in map number 3. But they took that suck on the chin. They looked at the referee, and when he said, "What's your name?" he said, "My name's Icy. Nice to meet you." And he shut that last round down with a hell of an elbow to the backside, baby.
And like you said, make no excuses. There are no excuses. Fire and Ice coming into the series was 4-0. They were undefeated, and just behind that of Rebel and Hive in 3rd place, but still undefeated nonetheless. Now you put that against Rise, who have, I mean, seriously, let's not sugarcoat it, have been very lackluster at least this season. There was a point where they were looking strong, but then they started to fall off again. They were 1-3. You have a team that was in 10th place going against the 3rd place team who was undefeated, and they just beat them. There's nothing that takes that away. You can't say Fire and Ice blew this because they didn't. Rise played incredible. Absolutely incredible. And their teamwork is what made it happen, and you can't take that away from them. I'm very impressed. You talk about the dad strength from Fran. My goodness, it came out. He's playing with the new cause clearly, and Icy being the MVP, he's going to be my MVP for the week. I think he has to be. You look at Rise at this point in time, again, 10th place, 1-3, and you beat Fire and Ice, who is undefeated. It's unparalleled. That is a huge W.
It's a massive W. This last round, just a beautiful job by Icy, and I enjoyed every second of it. I know we had to cut the highlight up into a few spots, but I was in love with the way Icy, after he gets that double kill, the way that he maneuvered to the home hill of Fire and Ice, where he's just sliding back and forth. He's showing off at that point. He's feeling himself, as the kids would like to say. All righty, he was just out there making a showcase of his ability, both mechanical and accuracy-wise. And there you see it on the board. Both of the map wins for Rise come away of a 5-3 victory. Only map they drop is after they put that third power weapon placement in front of Taylor and lose that Asylum 5-2. So, I mean, look, like I said, I don't want to. I ain't trying to hear none of that tonight. If you're gonna be out here. If you're gonna be out here talking crazy about Rise, you're gonna be talking crazy to somebody else, because I'm gonna be deaf to that for a while, because that was a beautiful showcase by them. We're so used to them setting up, we're so used to them playing defense, we're so used to them playing back, that when they decide we're gonna play up, we're gonna be a little offensive, we're gonna throw different looks your way, and we're gonna let our Slayers kind of get loose. I mean, it's been a while since Icy's really gotten loose like that. It has been a while since that man has been just feeling himself. And I don't know if it's just, the days off, the missed practice, whatever it might be, with all the craziness going on with Franchis having a baby, becoming a father. I'm sure there's got to be at least a conversation somewhere down the line where somebody said, Icy, if you start to get a kill, if you get a kill here and you feel confident you can get that second one, go on ahead, big man. Take us to the promised land, because he did a fantastic job in this matchup, Taylor. Like I said earlier, color me impressed. Rise, fantastic job. Love you, boys. Hope to continue to see this kind of play out of you each and every matchup.
Yeah, I'm truly impressed. I really am. I'm broke. I have 164 channel points. I went from 85,000 to 164 in one series. That's why you don't bet all your chips in one. And by the way, it took me like 3 years of working at UMG to get all those channel points. I'm actually really not upset, because it is what it is. It's all pixels. But hey, the truth is though, Rise, well done.